Ladies and gentlemen, the show we've all been waiting for, Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present REP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts, Kim Purvis and Allison Robinson. Live every Thursday night on Spreaker, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Be sure to check out their Facebook page, REP Paranormal Busters.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Alright, hey everybody, welcome to another night of REP Paranormal and Friends. We have special guests tonight. We have Nick and Sue from Short Bus Paranormal, so welcome.
Thank you, welcome.
Hello there.
Hi everybody.
Oh, Darren joined. Hey Darren.
Hey Darren. Hey Shay, hey Matt.
Alright, so, how are you guys holding up?
So far so good. We've had to cancel 2 investigations so far, which made my heart sad, but
I know.
What can you do?
I know it. That's going to be happening probably to us too, I bet. Keeping our fingers crossed, but
Yeah. We don't know.
We had 2 for Edinburgh Manor, and we had to cancel them both.
oh yeah.
So our next one's not till the end of June, so hopefully by then,
Right.
we'll be able to start doing something.
That's when
Absolutely.
ours starts in June.
Yeah, ours
Did I-
start in June too, so hopefully keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah. Exactly. Because the more we have to cancel, the crankier I'm going to get.
I know, same.
I'll be finding all kinds of honeydew things for him outside to do if that happens.
Oh, poor Nick.
Go talk to whatever spirits are outside.
No.
Well, if he runs out of stuff at home, we've got plenty over here.
Good to know.
Oh god.
So where are you heading in June?
We're heading to Farrar with Apex, Iowa. We got one with them.
Yep.
And then the Sumner School.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Where are
I
we
think-
going in June?
June is the Boyd
The
House.
Boyd House in Minnesota.
Oh, nice.
I've heard about that place.
Yes.
Haven't been there yet, so
See, that's just it.
we're hoping.
We've got like 5 new places we haven't been to this year, so we really got our fingers crossed.
Oh,
that
yeah. Oh, my gosh,
Just-
yeah. That'd be awesome. Yeah, I know. I'm just hoping things, yeah. We have new places, too.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
the good thing is, with at least investigating, that's pretty good social, staying away from everybody, if
Right.
you just got the few. So,
Yep.
but it's the idea of having to travel a long distance and having to stop and eat or something,
Yeah.
and that kind of thing can be kind of a problem. But
Right. Yeah. Yeah. All right, so do you want to, we have some new faces in here, so do you want to give us a little bit of background on yourselves, how you guys got started?
Oh, let's see. Well, I've always had the interest in the paranormal. I grew up in a small town in northeast Iowa, and my best friend lived in a very active house. Doors open and close, water would be turning off, footsteps. I actually saw my first shadow figure in that house. So that pretty much had me from the beginning. But fast forward quite a few years, we heard about this amazing place called Edinburgh Manor.
Uh-huh.
And we decided, let's go out there and do a day tour. So we went out there, did a day tour with Cindy and that. We've got to book this place. Booked it. And that first night was the best way to start if you're going to become a paranormal investigator because the place was so active. It was crazy. We had everything going for us that night, and from then on, that really piqued our interest in it on that, and we really just started getting more and more into it.
6 years ago?
Close to 7. Yeah.
7 years ago?
Oh.
Wow.
So we started out with them originally, a couple other folks, and they went a different direction, and we stayed with this, and then we asked my niece or my nephew and his wife to join. And we've gone through a couple other members, but then we've gained some other incredible team members along the line. And we've really got a really good group right now. I feel
there's 10 of us.
Really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always nice to have extras.
We're not all in the same area. Like 4 of us are here in Cedar Rapids. We've got 1 in Manchester. And then we've got Chuck, which is clear down in Donaldson, Iowa. And then we've got 3 in Omaha and 1 in Minnesota.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So we've got the core 4 or 5 that make it to most of them, and then whatever the other ones can make it to. So depending on location and that. So
Wow. Yeah, because, I mean, we started off with 7, but now we have mainly 4. So
4 part-time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the first time we met you guys was at Farrar.
Yeah.
Yep. It was.
You know, it's no matter how many you have, as long as you have that connection and everybody works well together,
right?
That's really important, I think.
Yep. I do too. That makes a big difference on how things go.
Yeah, you can't let egos get in the way or anything like that. You've all got to be just really on the same page on so much.
Yeah, the same energies. You can't be bringing negative energy into an investigation. It just doesn't work that well.
Yep.
Yeah, me and Allison work great together when we're by ourselves more than anything.
Yeah, we just had, like I said, the last group to join us were the 3 from Omaha, and they investigated with us a few times, and the way we watched them interact with the spirits and that stuff, and we just talked about it, and they just absolutely matched in perfect with the group.
Yeah. They bring their own set of unique qualities.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sorry.
We wanted to. You guys have been to Waverly.
Yes.
Last bucket list.
Last summer.
Yeah, it's a must.
Yeah.
Is that place as big as it looked like?
It's bigger than it looks like.
When you drive up into that place and you get through that front gate and you drive in, you are going to say a lot of holy craps because the place is huge.
It takes your breath away. I mean, it's beautiful and it's huge. It's just really an awesome place.
It's one of those places that you almost have to go to twice because, like, it's so big you can only pretty much run and gun. And then, at that point, try and find the best places. And then your next time back, try and hit just those places.
Yeah.
Because it is huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, we were there for as long as we could. We didn't cover
not even a third of it.
Yeah, it's massive.
Wow. Yeah. It is so big.
And we went there, and to help offset the cost, we went in there with more. We had 10 of us there? I think. No, 20.
20 of us.
Holy
and
cow.
So there was different teams, but we all worked out well. But we all segregated by floors. And every hour and 15 minutes, we just changed floors to go all the way through.
Wow, that's nuts.
But definitely go in.
Can you imagine,
it's so cool.
I bet Kim and I would try to get a whole bunch of people to go with us, and then it just probably end up being her and I going.
I tell you what, if you got the money to do it for just the minimal amount of people, that'd be the way to do it. The place is amazing.
Yeah.
And the gentleman that I'm sure Ernie, the guy's name, his job is like main security. He sits there and watches the monitors.
He's got to have, I bet you he's got at least 12 or more monitors that he watches throughout the whole building.
But he's the kind of guy that when he wakes up and goes to that place in the morning, he smiles all day. He loves his job.
He's seen some cool things too.
He's seen some amazing stuff on those monitors. It's crazy in there.
Oh, gosh, I bet.
It's been on my bucket list for a long time.
Yeah.
What's something that stands out to you that you have caught there, or an EVP, or anything, or some kind of...
I was on the men's wing with Curtis, and I think Brian was up there with me as well. And there are a lot of military vets that had been there, that had spent time there. And we got a lot of interaction with just different vets. We found out one was prior Air Force, his cousin had been in the military, just from different questions we were asking. So that was really cool.
And I think the weird thing about this place is it was so massive. They talked about the death tunnel to take the bodies out. Mm-hmm. And when you go in there, they had a three drawer cooler is all they had in the morgue for bodies.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So they were stacking them in rooms, in the hallway and everything.
The kitchen freezer, wherever.
So my thing was, I'm going, okay, I got to do it. I had to crawl into the bottom drawer of the cooler. And I'm laying there, and in your mind, you're hearing stuff. Somebody's talking to you. Uh-huh. And I could literally hear this voice asking me, what are you doing in here? You're alive. That just freaked me out. It was in my, it was one of those, it was in my head, but it wasn't the voice you hear. That was crazy. That was really weird.
At the peak of the tuberculosis pandemic, whatever it was, at the time, they were losing at least an hour, 24 hours a day.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the death tunnel was originally just to bring up supplies from the train for the kitchen, like medical supplies and then, all your food. And they said that they were having hearses and ambulances coming in every hour to take somebody out of there. And, of course, the people that lived there were seeing this. Okay. And so that's when they started using the death tunnel to take the bodies down that way so that they wouldn't be seen, seeing all of this hearses and everything pulling up to the facility. And actually the bottom of the death tunnel is in a different zip code than the sanitarium itself.
Oh my gosh.
What I like, they've done a really good job of upkeep of this building.
Yes.
All the money that's taken in, they turn it right around for upkeep on this place. I'm really impressed in how clean and how well taken care of it is. The grounds and everything.
Replacing windows and things like that. It's just amazing what they're doing.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So, ladies, put it way to the top of your list.
Yes, I know.
Eventually. It's there.
Eventually.
That one and the Sally House is on our top of our list. We want to do.
Mine, yeah. Well, a few of the team members want to, but Sue's a little skeptical of that one. She's been told by a few folks that probably wouldn't be the best place for her to go.
I'll just go hang out with Deb and Tony Pickman. We'll just drink beer and eat pizza. It's all good.
That sounds like a good plan, too.
Let them go to the Sally House. You go to the McAteer.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Hit two places at once.
Yeah. That's kind of like how we'd want to do it.
A couple of our big ones this year are Hinsdale House and Wildwood Sanitarium.
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait till your information on the Hinsdale House.
Yeah, that's another place I'd like to go.
That's July. We're going there in July. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Yes,
one day apart on those two. So, yeah, that's the one. If we can't make that one, I'm going to be a grumpy person.
Oh, I don't blame you.
Sleep in the shed.
I don't blame you.
Go potty. Go potty. Go potty.
Oh, that's too funny.
Puppy has to go potty.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Happens.
Your other big place that I was going through your things that I've watched. You've been to Missouri State, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So how was that place? I heard it.
That place is huge as well.
Big, yeah.
Nice.
For me personally, the one thing that I really didn't enjoy was the fact that the security guard is always with you.
Yeah, that's what I've heard
too. So you really can't do an investigation like the way you're used to investigating. And it's kind of like a nighttime tour, basically, is what it kind of boils down to.
I heard from another team they went, and the security guard wouldn't even be quiet when they were investigating.
Yeah.
We did not have that problem.
Oh, we did when we were
Not in all areas.
Not in all areas, but they really wanted to give you the history of the place, and we just wanted to have our chance to be quiet for a bit. But to go there, the history of it is amazing, and I'd like to go back one more time once they get those new underground cells that they found. I would love to go down and check those out. I think that would be amazing.
Yeah.
To have the chance to get into something like that.
Yeah, that would be.
We're going to a place in Illinois this year called the Roth House. And that one has some interesting history to it as well. There's so many places and so many histories that you get them kind of confused, but definitely go out and look at I think it's ROFF, Roth Home or Roth House.
Uh-huh.
Look at that. I mean, it's got some really cool history to it.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I fell upon it. I don't know how I stumbled upon it, but I'm like, whoa, and I got in touch with the guy, and he goes, yeah, and it's kind of along the lines of like Vale Mansion, where it's been restored. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's an old Victorian that's been restored. But yeah, we're pretty excited to get in there and check that one out. Now, Paul knows about the Roth House, yep.
Oh, cool.
There you go, Paul.
Yeah, I know. I was like, thank you.
So that one's in August.
I don't know.
I think that one's in August or September. August. That one's in August, I believe, is when we're going there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we got some fun places to go to this year that we haven't hit yet. Should be fun.
Yes, yeah. I am glad to be hitting a couple new places too. So
yeah, we're going to the Cambry House and
Oh, we are too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
When are we going there? In August?
Yeah, I think so.
I think we're going in August. I
think that's when we go. I think we're going in August also.
It's either July or August. I can't remember. Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yes. So that'll be. I think it's August.
Pretty sure it's August.
Yeah.
The
so
next
hopefully everything's all cleared up by then.
Yeah.
What's that place in Nebraska we're going to? It's south of Omaha. Begins with an S.
Chris Williams' place?
The Stevensons?
The
Stevenson.
That's it.
That a girl.
Yep. We're going there this year, too.
Otherwise, I had to get up and go look on our calendar, so I'm glad you got
I know, Kim was pulling up our calendar to look at our things, too. She has to write everything down. I forget. I have so much stuff, and I try to write everything down, and then I have to ask him. I'm like, okay, I know I have this written down somewhere, but I know you have it on the calendar. Who's our next guest? I'm like, who do I have booked for this month? So that way I know what I have to look up. I'd lose my head if she didn't write everything down. I really would.
Yeah.
Well, if I do write it down, you can't read it anyway. So I'm bad handwriting. Very bad handwriting.
The next place I was going to talk about is Villisca, and we have a question in here in chat. What are your views on Villisca? Do you think it's an intelligent haunting or a residual haunting?
In my own opinion, I think there's some of both there. I really do. I think there is a lot of the residual is still hanging there, but I think there is an intelligent hauntings going on there. Just from our couple of investigations we had there and their interactions we had there, I believe there's both going on there. It's one of those weird places where we a few years ago, we actually had one of our pieces of equipment got burned out by the spirits that were in there. They didn't like the line of our conversation.
Oh, wow.
We were asking questions. We had our RTC box going, and we were asking questions. We were getting some pretty significant answers on the murders and all that stuff. All of a sudden, for some reason, the volume went to the absolute max, and it just stopped. So I got it going back one other time, got it going again, and this time we went to the max and stopped. I ended up sending it to the gentleman in California that built it for me. He says, how did this happen? There's no reason that this speaker and these wires should have melted out on the inside of this thing.
Yeah, 'cause it's just run on a battery.
It's just run on a rechargeable battery inside.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
blew the speaker and melted the wires.
No.
Holy cow.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they didn't like the lion. We were being very respectful,
Yeah.
just asking questions. I think we just got to a point that whatever was there didn't like the conversation we were having.
Decided to end it.
No.
Wow.
So we were getting some pretty significant answers as far as how the murders happened, how many children, how many boys, how many girls,
Why?
and why. It was pretty crazy when that was going on, I have to say.
Yeah, they got a little testing.
Last time we were there, I got woke up by, it smelled like somebody was smoking marijuana.
Really?
In the living room, right next to the pianos where I was laying. And then all of a sudden it was gone.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I watched I was out on the porch looking in. I had a walkie-talkie on myself and I had a walkie-talkie inside. The rest of them were in the shed. And I saw a really impressive shadow figure watch from the stove walk right back to the piano into that area. That really had my interest on that one. I'm going, what in the, my nephew comes running. I says, you won't believe what I just saw. It was pretty cool. I'm going to get the dog.
Dogs in. Let me go get the dogs.
That's all right.
We have a question to go back to when you had to cancel some stuff. Candy wants to know if you make a reservation for a place to investigate and you had to put down a deposit, do they refund it to you, or what?
Well,
now that it's locked down.
Our first two were Edinburgh, and we've known Cindy since, for 7
she doesn't
years.
Take deposits anyway.
So, there was no deposit there.
But everybody else we've talked to so far has been more than willing. That we've reached out to most of them and asked them if, for some reason, we have to cancel and we have the deposit. Mm-hmm. They said, don't worry about it. We'll either rebook or we'll take care of it.
Yeah,
so,
they'll either apply it towards a rebook somewhere down the road, or they'll just refund it. So we've been real fortunate with the people that we've been working with on that.
Oh, nice.
We've even had one now where we booked it and they said, don't even worry about the deposit for now. Yeah. We'll see how this goes. I'll just put your name, I'll pencil you in, and we're going to go from there, which I thought was very nice.
Yeah. That's a good way to go, I think, for now, because
most places we've all been to, they've all been decent people that we
absolutely.
Exactly.
You're looking like at Josh Hurd and Daniel Cleese, and so many of those really great people, and they're more than willing to either work with you. Elijah Buchholz is another one. They're so willing to work with you once they know you. I mean, once they know you, you're friends, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I can't remember where it was at, but I was watching one of your live feeds, and they had this one room you were in, and it was all dolls. Where was that?
That would have been Peoria State Hospital.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Yeah. I remember watching the live feed, and I remember seeing the whole room of dolls.
That's a freaky room. There are some weird dolls in that room.
That place, again, it's the tuberculosis ward that you go into. Peoria State Hospital is another one that has such an amazing history. There's 4 cemeteries to it. There's actually a cemetery behind the tuberculosis ward. Just to go and listen to the history of this place is fascinating. But the one time we were there, we were all standing in the hallway and we heard like this banging. And we thought, like if you're in your basement and you bang on the heat vents, what it would sound like upstairs. Mm-hmm. Well, this is what we were hearing. And we're like, what is that? So we're going back and forth looking. So we went downstairs. There were no heat vents like that down there. So we're not really sure what we were hearing, but something was banging and getting our attention. The weird part is it would be on one end of the building, and then the other end of the building. They were trying to get us separated and go to different parts.
Oh, wow.
But that's another one if I would recommend to get into. It's a little harder to get into, but if you can get in, it's a really neat place. It's a really neat place to go to.
And they turned it into a haunted house over Halloween. And you've got a whole lot of that stuff in there too, which is interesting.
Gosh,
And
that would freak me out if you're like walking.
Oh, you
there and
do.
see some
You need to
like,
walk
zombie
around for
looking
half
thing
an
in the
hour.
dark.
Yeah.
Put the lights on just so you know where the mannequins are sitting and that kind of stuff, so you're not jumping out of your skin pretty much.
Because it was rated or voted like #1 most haunted attraction in
Illinois
area or something like that.
Oh,
it's a cool place.
And I had to give the ladies a compliment that do this because I looked at them. I says, "Don't take this wrong, ladies, but you are sick ladies for coming up with these ideas." And they says, "Thank you. That's really a great comment." I'm going, well,
the entrails and and severed heads and hands and it's something else.
no, check that one out. I think you'd like, and it's not really big, so like 2 or 4 of you would really do.
That would be
well in that place.
You've got the men's death ward, you've got the women's death ward, you've got the cold storage in the basement where they put the bodies, during the wintertime because they couldn't dig, the graves, and it's interesting.
it sounds interesting. Like I said, I've seen a lot of your live feeds from there, and it was interesting just watching you guys investigate there.
Yeah. Really cute, funny story that I'll never live down from there is I'm sitting in a hallway. I've got my laser shooting down the hallway. And they do have somebody there all night with you. But they're in a room and they watch on monitors so that you don't get lost or, in this place or nothing happens to you. And I'm sitting feet away where this young lady's sitting there in the room. I'm sitting with the laser and all of a sudden I go, oh my God, what is... She didn't tell me, and I didn't realize it was her, but she leaned out the door about half her body to look down at the hall at me and to see this dark thing
in the grid light.
In the grid light, I'm going, this is awesome. She backed up. She did it again. I'm calling to the rest of the team going, get over here. You've got to see this. Well, then she realized that I was seeing her, and she went back in and came back out the other way and apologized as she stepped out.
It was great. That was epic right there. Yeah.
So I felt a little foolish out of that, but it looked really good at the moment. It really did.
It got your adrenaline up, didn't it?
It did. I was shaking after that one.
Oh, that's too funny.
Another place I really, really want to talk about is Edinburgh.
Yes.
Your favorite place. My favorite video live with you guys was when you were in the laundry room and you had the ball and the REM pod and I think it was the music box and how they were just running back and forth and playing every time you'd ask them to switch. I thought that was so cool.
Yep.
That went on for like an hour and a half.
Yes, it did.
It was amazing.
Because I kept telling everybody as we're doing this, I'm going, folks, for you that are watching this live, we are the luckiest investigators there are, and you two are to see this actually, what's going on here, to see the interaction we're having. This is crazy. Because I'm taking the camera, putting it underneath the table to make sure everybody can see. There's nothing under the table making this stuff go off. We're shutting off the equipment, resetting it, and there we ask them to turn it, get it lit back up, and they start it all over again.
Yeah,
that was an amazing, amazing night. It started in the cafeteria room on that table. We're testing it, trying to figure out what's going on. People suggested we'll move the table, so we moved it about 10 feet. We're going, well, it still started up, so then we moved it all the way down to the laundry room, and it still went crazy. Like I said,
and then you took a break, and it did it again right after that.
Yeah. We came back from our break, and the twinkle balls were flashing, and it was the craziest thing.
And it was amazing because the group of us sitting there, you could feel the energies. How you're in you can feel it. The place was just alive. It was absolutely amazing that night to feel the energies swooping in between the chairs and all that. You knew without a doubt there were a lot of children spirits there that night.
And once we turned all the equipment off, it was like they all went to bed. I mean, the whole place just got quiet, and there was nothing the rest of the night. And so we just called it a night. I think we wore them out.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I haven't got to show Allison that one. But it was so cool. They just ran from piece to piece every time they asked. It was so cool.
We'd ask him to touch the REM pod, and that would go off, and we're like, well, thank you. How about now go get the music box? And all of a sudden, the music box would start playing. And it got to where I was calling the REM pod the bitty bitty bitty, and they would run over to that, and it would go off again, and it was amazing. It was so amazing.
Well, I think the interesting thing that started that night when we got there for that whole situation was there was something very negative in there that night.
Yeah.
Very, very heavy in there. Mm-hmm. We thought it was going to be a really bad night. Luckily, our good buddy Chuck Banks happened to go, well, I'm going to take care of something here. I'm going to do something. So he did what he does, and whatever that was, chased it away for a while. And just like that, it was like turning a dimmer switch on the lights. The energy completely switched.
And the kids came out to play.
And it was just like that. Everything started happening.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was just a storm of craziness and perfection that
cool.
night.
It seems like every time I watch your live feed, you always get something to happen.
We do. We get amazing. It's amazing interaction there. And we do have issues with some things there, but there are a lot of amazing, friendly, lovable spirits there too that we interact with all the time. It's got everything you could want in that place.
Really from between Candy and Chanel and Chuck and some others are all telling me, you've got to stay out of that basement. You just cannot go back down there anymore. And I'm like, well, okay, there's other rooms I can go to.
That's what we keep telling Allison, too.
So I'll send these guys to the basement, and I'll go sit in the toy room or somewhere, but just not there.
This last fall was Sue's third strike, so she's done. She got affected pretty heavily in the basement. So
that did not go.
That was not good. Great. We had to get Chuck involved and help clear her that night, too. So that was a kind of a scary night.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we try to keep Allison out of there, too, because they keep wanting to drag her down there by herself, and nope.
No.
Yeah, Sue had gotten in one of those moods where she just gazed off, and we couldn't get her to snap out of it. She was just off in her own
little world,
and it took a lot to get her back. And even then, she didn't even remember what was going on. Yeah. So
like somebody I know just a few weeks ago.
Really?
I'm not gonna name any names.
So what did happen?
Huh?
What did happen?
We were at Melbourne. We were in the shadow hallway, and she got affected by something there.
I don't know. He comes to me as the man, basically, and I was sitting there in a room, and next thing you know,
we're carrying her out.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
It was insane.
That's crazy.
I don't remember a whole lot of it.
Jeez.
Wow.
We took her outside and set her down in the grass, and we called somebody, and they helped her, and we got her back, but I didn't think we were going to.
I think that's the best thing any paranormal team can have is somebody that they can call on and depend on to help in those moments.
Yeah.
Because
it can happen that quick.
Yep.
Yeah, because what we were doing was the necrophonics. I had the headphones on, the blindfold, and I was just saying whatever was coming through, and she just went in this one room, and the next thing we know, she's collapsed on the floor.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that's scary.
Jeez.
Okay, I haven't collapsed yet.
No.
I just go off somewhere else.
You ladies... Oh, she still does that when she takes off by herself.
I do. I tell people, they're not allowed to go anywhere by themselves. Everybody has to go with somebody else. And next thing you know, I'm trotting around by myself. And they kind of yell at me about that.
Yeah, that's the man's hallway.
I'll wander off too from time to time, and
I think it really depends on the place.
It depends on the place too. Yeah. I won't go downstairs to Edinburgh by myself in the basement. I haven't done that.
No.
Nope.
Yeah. That place gives me the creepies.
See, now, like I said, it always used to be the boiler room down there, but now that hasn't been really near as bad as what we would call
the machinist
room. That room, the room at the end of the hall by the padded room.
Yep.
That room has got some stuff going on.
Yeah.
Not a lot of good stuff. It's got something dark hanging down there.
I kind of felt that the last time I was there. It
No.
just didn't feel right. So I didn't
No.
even go in the room. I was just outside the room. I'm going, turn around. I'm by myself. I'm not going to go.
I'm not that curious.
Yeah, I think once last year I went, stuck my hand in there only because Chuck he was on Facebook Live, and he wanted me to put the camera in there to see what was going on, and I got out of there. It just gives me the creeps.
Okay, so Shay just asked, she's getting a lot of questions about where did the name come from.
Yeah.
Okay, when we first started out, we were with another couple, and they had one of those little Kia, kind of looks like a mini mailbox mail truck, vehicles. And so we get ready to go on an investigation. All right, everybody climb into the short bus, because it was like a little mini mail truck.
Right.
That's what it looked like. And that's really where the name came from. and it was black, so it was just kind of a cute little thing. And then once they went their way and we went ours, we at one point were going to change the name. And we were at the first Haunticon, and we had the shirts on, and people were like, oh, great name, great name, great name. And I'm like, yeah, but we're kind of thinking of changing the name. And they said, don't. And so we're like, okay, we didn't. I mean, it's not out of any... It's not to be derogatory or disrespectful or anything. It's just because of the kind of vehicle that our friends drove.
Nothing wrong with that.
That's basically in a nutshell where it came from.
I think people expect a really funny, exciting story about how the name came. It's really kind of a boring, dumb story.
But still, people still want to know, so,
You want to hear something funny? My husband's looking for a short bus for us to carry all of our equipment in. And I said, no, there's already somebody with short bus's name. You don't have to change your name.
No.
The funny part is, I think you guys, if you looked on our page, you might have seen there's a website called something in Iowa, Photos of Iowa or something.
Iowa.
No, it's not the haunted one. But somebody actually posted a picture. There's a bus on there that looks just like the one in our logo.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm going, man, if I had the money, I would buy that thing in a heartbeat. It's just, it's kind of old, distressed. That's just the way I'd leave it.
Weathered, rusty, one that's been out there for a few years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. He went from short bus to a hearse now.
Oh, my.
Because he's got an idea where we could put a coffin in the back, and that'll carry all of our equipment, and it'll be on wheels, and you can just take it on in. And I'm going, you got strange ideas.
That would look great when you're leaving in the morning and people drive by and seeing you carrying a hearse out. They're going to, what in the world?
Wheeling it out, they'll be like, okay, just keep on driving.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, maybe you guys know, since you guys go there all the time, do you know which group put the casket at Edinburgh?
No,
no idea.
We never did. We were never told.
And I don't know that it was a group. I think it was just somebody that Cindy knows that goes out there quite a bit.
Uh-huh.
He just thought it would be a fun idea to bring that up there.
Gosh.
Like, yeah, no.
I know we've been told by more than one investigating team there that have interacted with spirits there that they're not at all happy with it being there.
No.
They are
we got
spirits
that
on it.
impression, too, when we were there.
Yeah. Not big fans of it.
Yeah, that's not what that place was for. But
I don't blame them, really. Do you?
And who in their right mind wanted to take that up the dang stairs?
I know.
Not me.
It's like that show, that episode of Friends where they're pivot, where they're trying to take the stairs.
Exactly. That's exactly what you have to do.
Yeah.
Could use it as a toboggan maybe to go down the stairs.
Well, the spirits didn't like me when we were in that room because they wanted me in the coffin.
No.
We kept getting that across the spirit box. Kim, get in. Kim, get in.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't need to be rushing into that anytime soon.
I'll go into a lot of creepy places, like I said, the coolers and that I'll crawl into, but a coffin is just that's over my line.
No.
I don't know why. I got no issue going in the morgues and that, but I'm not crawling in the coffin.
All All right, let's see here. Okay, so we're going to start rolling through some questions here that are in chat because we're getting kind of
But before we go to the questions, I have one more question to ask them. Okay, sure. I know you guys go on double nights. Does that help with your investigation?
It does.
Almost definitely.
Yeah. Usually the second night is actually a lot more active for us than the first night is.
They get a little more time to get used to you and they get a better chance to see that, okay, they're pretty decent people. We'll feel all right hanging out with them.
Have you been down to the Beatty Mansion?
No.
Not yet. That's another one on the list.
Yes. That is a 2-night must. It is.
Well, because it's that big.
It's big, but it's amazing. But little girl named Kat there that you'll be able to interact with. I've had a lot of conversation with her. I think she's between 10 and 12 years old. Her favorite color is yellow. Just a fun, sweet little girl. But that's another really, really awesome place to go to.
That one's on my list too, because every time we hear something interesting, I write it down so we can check into it.
That one for me would be second after Edinburgh. I really, really like that place.
Yeah, there was the one night where oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Nope, you go ahead. Nope, I was just catching up.
Okay.
The chat here, so you're good.
Yeah, there was the one night we were there, and Brian and Amy were sleeping in the room below us. And they could have sworn that we got up in the middle of the night and walked around having a conversation, and we were fast asleep. We're thinking it was Mr. and Mrs. Beatty that they heard walking around talking. It wasn't us.
Talking about that place, we have Adam in the chat. He said they just got broken into last night.
They did.
Yeah, there's pictures out there on Facebook.
Yeah.
But luckily there's a security camera. The security camera's got the color of the vehicle, the license plate, and everything.
Well, that's good.
So,
license plate came out of Ohio. Yeah. It's a red pickup truck. And then there's a lady who lives close by. She said she's seen the truck near that area probably for the last 2-3 days. So I'm guessing they might have been casing the place.
Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
I hate when people do things like that to anybody's place.
Yep.
Oh.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Excuse me. All right. Let's see here. We got... Kim wrote these down, so it might be a little bit easier for me to read. So, okay. First one is, if you come across a full-body apparition, who would you want it to be, and what would you say?
Wow, that's a good one.
Boy, there's always, because you got to go down with Elvis, and is that you? Everybody always thinks they're seeing Elvis. And just going, really?
No, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not sure.
I think mine, I'd like to see probably Ed or Lorraine Warren, and I would have to say I would love to learn from you. That would have to be what if I had my choice. There's a lot of people don't like, some do like. I've always been a fan of both of those two, so
good answer.
That would be what I'd like to. Yeah.
Excuse me. All right, let's see here. Next one is, what do you fear of the paranormal?
An attachment we can't get rid of. That would be my biggest fear. That's why we always, before we start an investigation, we have a prayer that we say asking for protection, and before we leave, we say another prayer, and then we tell all the spirits that they have to go, that we're leaving, they have to stay here.
Yep.
So that's pretty much my fear anyway, and I'm sure pretty much the whole team would feel that same way.
Not being able to come back from where I go to when I go off that way. I want to make sure I come back. Every matter, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't want an attachment to come home with me either.
Yeah, I don't need my dogs barking to the corners.
Nope.
Be cool.
Me either. One of them, she gets up And she'll just be laying on her bed, and all of a sudden she'll just get up and she'll just go to the window and she'll just start barking. There's like nothing there. She just, or she'll just be sitting there, and all of a sudden she'll just run up there and just start barking, and there's nothing.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know. She's nuts. But I was like, maybe she's a schizo. I don't know. Because literally, she barks at nothing. She'll just be laying there in a dead sleep, and then just get up and start barking.
She just got something to say, apparently.
I guess.
When mine does it, I gotta get the polka music out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey, there you go.
So awesome.
I love that dog.
Gosh, I don't think mine would.
Hey, hi, Brian. Brian's on.
All right, let's see here. Do you think going Facebook Live helps or hurts an investigation?
For us, we have a lot of people who can actually see things that we can't, which for me is kind of cool.
But I think as a learning tool, I think it works. I think it helps a lot because we've got a lot of people, we've got a lot of followers, and it's crazy to believe in Australia and England and Great Britain and all that love seeing how we do it compared to how they do it, and to see that it's not all what it is on TV. And I think if it's done properly, you still got to have your fun, but you still got to be serious at it and try and get out of that investigation what you're there to do.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think it helps. I really do. I think we've gained a lot of followers just because, and they've gone out and investigated themselves after that because they saw what it's all about.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Candy, bless her heart, she usually watches the videos after the fact. So sometimes she sees things that, we have no clue of, and she just like,
Right. Yep. And that's,
that helps.
Because we've had that when we were at Edinburgh, too. People were seeing,
yes.
the lights being blocked out from our laser grid. It was like a sheet down there. We didn't notice it because we were too busy interacting with what was going on, and
Exactly.
we were looking at the chat on there, and they're like, hey, you got something down there. And sure enough, when we went through the feed, we could see something that we couldn't explain. So.
Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes the more eyes, the better it is, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you got your trolls that nothing's right. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's nothing. What are you guys talking about? There's nothing. Yeah.
That or the psychic wannabes or something like that, and yeah.
No matter who it is, you're gonna have them though.
Yep.
No.
Yeah.
You just got to take that group with a grain of salt because you have all your good fans out there and your good followers and all that stuff. And
Yep. Oh, let's see. Katie said something about Sue getting bum rushed in Edinburgh.
Candy.
Yeah,
that was one of her.
That was one of those after the fact things. You know how I told you everybody has to go in twos when they go somewhere,
right?
And we were upstairs, and I needed to get the power pack for my phone because my phone was losing its power. So what do? By myself, I go trotting on downstairs to Command Central to go get my power pack, and I turned and I was looking down the hallway towards the toy room, and I hesitated. And then all of a sudden I stepped out and went up the stairs, and Candy had said that had I not stepped out and gone up those stairs when I did, it was almost like a banshee, but not really a banshee, but just the wild hair and everything came flying at me and missed me by just nanoseconds. She said if that thing would have hit you, it would have put you down, it would have made you sick.
Just because of the energies that thing was carrying.
Yeah. And so, she saw that like the next day.
Oh, wow. Gosh, that's crazy. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. That's one of those old crap moments when she tells you about it later on,
Yeah.
It's like, oops. Okay, maybe I should take somebody with me. You can be my blocker. Blocker on the left, you're my blocker on the right. Let's go,
Yeah.
Before they get me.
Let's see. Her next question is, what's the most memorable investigation you have done?
Wow. That's a good question.
There's been a lot. One of mine is going to have to be going back to the Klondike Hotel. It was our first time there. We had never seen an SLS ever. And Chad Reynolds had popped in, brought his SLS in, took it upstairs, and there's like 45 minutes of me with Ella, the little girl that's up there, just back and forth. I mean, she was holding, she had her arms wrapped around my legs, and, I was holding her, and then Mom popped up behind me, and she was just jumping around. She was a little freaked out. I'm like, just relax. I'm old enough to be grandma. Okay, so it's all right. And she kind of popped out and settled down, and you could see on the SLS where she leaned over Ella and was talking with her, and then she was gone. And then that night, we slept in their bedroom. He got his pant leg pulled, and then I had like the static on the side of my face the entire night, like little Ella was almost holding my cheek or something.
Oh my gosh.
That was really awesome for me. And we got quite a bit of that on the SLS too that night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
As far as mine would have had to been Melbourne last year. There was an event going on there, and Shadow Man's hallway again.
Yep.
Down there, and I love doing the blindfold, the headphones, and the SB
Yep.
The Estes experiment.
Well, it's not really the Estes experiment, but it's a version of.
Yeah.
I had sat down at the end of the hall, figured this was going to be great. I sat down, gave my thumbs up. We started, and as soon as I sat down, I heard this voice say, "Get out." And I'm going, this isn't a good start.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and a couple seconds later, I hear a different voice say, "Not yet."
Oh.
And I'm going, okay. So I'm going to hold out. And then this is so hard to explain unless you've experienced something like this, because what I experienced in my mind and everything, I would not wish on anybody. It was to a point like I was in a vast emptiness, surrounded by the blackest black you can imagine. But it was weird because it wasn't in my face. It was like surrounding me. And there was something in that blackness pacing and getting closer and getting closer. And it's getting blacker than that was getting blacker. And at that point, I'm just going, my mind's screaming, "Get out, get out, get out." And I did. The SB went flying. Everything went flying. And I took off running down that hallway. I was scared to death. Luckily, Chuck Banks was there. He caught me. And to even see the look on Chuck's face, because I'm in tears, I was scared to death. I got no problem admitting I was crying. I was that freaked out and scared over that experience.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have that. It took me. I was done for the investigation the rest of that night.
I was
done. And I'll do that again, but I'll never do that experiment
in the Shadow Man's hallway.
That will be. I go down there.
That
scared me beyond that night. I wouldn't have wished that on anybody. Those feelings that I was going to. I mean, it was immense dread and sorrow and fear. It was just crushing the feelings that I was getting. It was crazy. I do not ever want to experience that part again.
Melbourne, what a place.
Yeah, I know.
We're going back this year for 2 nights again. Usually when we do go, we go for 2 nights.
All right.
And we haven't committed to anything yet, but we're kind of toying around with maybe doing an event one of those 2 nights.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. If there's an interest, we will get doing something like that. So
I got a suggestion. When you go up to Susie's room,
yes,
sit on the bed and color with her.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Play Glenn Miller music, and we had our K2 bouncing with Glenn Miller to the tune.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
have like head to toe shivers right now thinking of that. That is so cool.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
It was awesome. We were just sitting there coloring with her, and we had the music going, and our K2 was just a bouncing with the music, and
Oh, I can't wait.
I love when that kind of stuff happens.
Yep.
That makes a whole trip.
Give it a try. See if it happens with you guys.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, fun. Yep. I should take her some new colors in a new coloring book.
Yeah, she needs some. They don't color very good.
That's what I was going to do last time, and it was short notice, so I didn't get them. But I'm like, next time I go, that's what I'm doing, because I could not color for crap with those crayons. And I told her, I'm like, sorry, I'll have to finish my picture later, because these don't do anything. Like,
and we found a picture of a girl coloring, and we colored it for her and put Susie's name on it for her.
Oh, nice. Very
we hung
nice.
it up for her.
They need a box of crayons with a sharpener in it.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm answering chat here because, Adam was in there, and we went with Creeps in February to Malvern.
Oh,
for my birthday.
Nice.
Around Kim's birthday, and he has built this paravane, and in the video you see a shadow cross on there when nobody.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
It was pretty awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, they go through and show us all walking by it and stuff, and nothing recreates that. So
No, I love it when you can't.
Yeah, when you can't debunk it, yeah, that's always the best.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay.
So that was awesome. All right. Let's see here. What is your favorite piece of device at the present time?
Mine is the paranormal music box. I love that thing. I cannot explain how much I love this thing. It is so cool.
I would have to agree. We've had some amazing interaction.
Oh
with
my
that
gosh.
thing.
I mean, Rusty at Edinburgh Manor has played with it. Ella at Klondike, Malvern Manor, we've had it play there. In Inez's room. It's a great piece of equipment. Love it.
That's one of them that's on my list that I would like to get, but right now, I don't think so.
If I had no other equipment, that is the one thing I would want.
Yeah. I will admit it is a little on the pricey side, but
So worth
it was well worth it once we got it because we use it on every investigation.
Yeah.
The thing we found out is
went
that
off in the Klondike too, upstairs.
Yep.
Yes.
When no one was up there, it was going off.
That was so amazing. You know, the lights were out, the men were in the basement, Amy and I were sitting in the men's parlor, discussing the ways of the world, and it started playing, and it was unreal.
Gosh. See, I like those things. I mean, I haven't used one, but I've seen other people use them, and it's just so awesome.
We finally got some balls that light up.
Yeah.
Oh, those are fun.
The little twinkle balls?
Yep.
Yes.
We finally got some of those.
Yep.
We actually lost one.
No, it disappeared.
We didn't lose it, it disappeared. It's
Something
gone.
literally took it. We were at Vale Mansion. We were sitting upstairs. I know exactly where each one was at.
Yeah.
They were all sitting on beds. We were doing a session upstairs. Nothing went off.
Second floor, yeah.
We decided we're going to go move and went around to every place where they were at. One was missing.
Never found it.
Never found it.
We were on our hands and knees looking under everything and never found it.
And it couldn't have fallen off because it was in the middle of a bed, a normal size big bed, and completely gone.
And we were in the dark, so we would have seen it twinkle, if nothing else. And no, just gone.
Because we told the ladies, if it ever comes back and you find it, we just want to know where it's at. It's not worth a lot of money. We just want to know where.
Where did it show up?
Gosh, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So now we're one twinkle ball short.
Yeah.
Oh, no. That kind of sounds bad.
Well, you should hear them in their chats because they're always teasing Nick about his balls.
Gypsy in Australia loves to talk about Nick's twinkling balls.
Yep.
That is her favorite subject every time we go on an investigation. She is so funny.
Yes, she is. Always picking on Nick.
That's funny.
Yep. She's a hoot.
All right, let's see here. What's been the most dangerous investigation you have been on?
I think he answered that with Malvern.
Yeah, but Mackenzie, I think...
Mackenzie getting attacked 3 times down in the basement.
And I would have to go back to again where I think Edinburgh overall for our team, I'm not quite sure why. But our team has had more than its share of dark experiences there.
Something tried to suffocate him one night while sleeping.
No. I wasn't even asleep yet, and it tried pushing. We were in the bedhouse, and I'm laying there. Sue's sound asleep. I'm laying there trying to get to sleep. I'm laying on my stomach, and all of a sudden something just came up behind me, pushed me into the mattress where it bent my body, and I couldn't get up. I couldn't breathe. I'm gasping for air. That was a oh crap moment at that.
He's trying to reach me and wake me up, and I knew nothing was going on. I was out. I was complete. I don't know if they were keeping me under or if I was just that exhausted.
But again, like I said, Edinburgh for us. But I still have to agree. There's a lot of great spirits there, but you still have to be careful.
Some ornery ones out there.
There is some stuff there, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me on that. Without a doubt, they will not agree that there's anything bad there. And for some teams, I think it's just that way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes I guess not trying, we might bring out something bad there, but we don't try. We treat everything with respect. We never go in taunting.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking they don't like the purple hair. That's my theory. Yeah.
Possibility.
What
in the world is that?
We've only slept in that house once.
Twice.
The rest of the time, we've always slept in the manor. We just find a bed and lay on it.
Yeah, we've never slept in the manor.
I love sleeping in the house because there's a lot going on in there.
There is.
There's a lot going on.
I'll agree on that one, too.
Yep.
A lot of knocking on the walls during the night and things shuffling around and yeah.
Yep.
Or somebody having a conversation with somebody when somebody else is outside.
Yeah, her cousin Christy did. Kim was outside having a cigarette, and Christy's in there going to the bathroom. She's having a full-on conversation with this woman. She thought it was Kim, and Kim was never inside the house.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
Yeah, then this was her second investigation. So she was kind of leery of going back to the bathroom.
Wow.
I can't blame her there.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Kim's always picking on people, and so that one time at Farrar, we were sitting in the kitchen part, and we have these candles with the twist, the turn, so they can turn them on and off.
Oh, sure.
And she had them in her pocket still, hadn't brought them out. And so she was sitting there, like this or whatever. And Kim's like, if you're here with us, turn those candles on in Christy's pocket. Sure as shit. They turn on, she kind of pokes them, she's like, ooh.
I'm out.
Oh, wow.
Just saying.
Had to break her in good.
Coming on. Fun.
Yeah, that would be an experience.
Yep.
Especially when it was her first one.
Yeah, that was her first one.
Oh, jeez. Welcome to Paranormal Investigating.
I gotta get people going,
Yeah, I know. She likes to sneak up on us while we're setting up, too. A lot of times.
Oh.
I know her ways.
She's wise to you.
All right, next one is, does an exorcism help or hurt an investigation?
Oof.
I would say that would end up being your end means to the whole thing if you're trying to find out what's there and eliminate it. So I would say, luckily, we've never had to get involved at that end of it. I mean, even with our cleansings and that stuff. But I would say that would just be considered the end part of the whole investigation if you're doing, to cleanse and rid.
Provided it works.
Yeah.
I mean, if it didn't work, then all you're going to do is piss it off.
Right. Yep. Gotta know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to dabble into something I'm not real sure of.
That's
Me
what
either. Yep, me neither.
No, I'm not even going to pretend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Nope. That is not something that I would fake it till you make it, because...
No.
Getting out your phone going, let's go down the list here and get somebody else on this one.
Yep. That's right. And you've kind of already talked about this, your views on the Estes method. That was one of the questions there.
Yeah, I tried it once and all I heard was, I couldn't get past that white noise. I'm still listening, but yeah.
See, that's it. She tries too hard. You've got to sit there and open yourself up and just let it happen. You can't go in there and force your mind to hear it.
Right.
Myself, Brian, Dan, we've all had incredible experiences using that thing, and I'm not sure if any of the other people that Kim, if when you do that thing, for like us, there's parts of it where it seems to take us to a whole different level in our minds of what we're seeing, in our minds and what we're hearing, which can be kind of freaky and kind of scary. Because I had that happen down at Mineral Springs, where in my mind, we were sitting at the swimming pool. I literally, in my mind, turned around and watched two people walk out of the swimming pool walking straight at me. And again, headphones, everything came off. I'm going, okay, I'm done with this one. And it was all black and white, and it was as real could be what I was seeing, but it wasn't there. It was crazy. But yeah, for us three especially, it really takes us into a different area. But we've had great experiences with it too.
Yeah, this year I'm going to try starting to learn to meditate. So like before an investigation, I can meditate and try to get my headspace, to where it needs to be. Without it, going off in how many millions of other different directions.
Quit chasing squirrels.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes.
Well, remember when we talked about Melvin and Allison collapsed? Just before she collapsed, I had the headphones on, and I heard Allison's mind, and that's when I flipped the headphones on.
Really?
Whoa. No.
I didn't know anything had happened until that came across.
Oh, wow.
No. That's bad. That's really bad.
And that's when I told the guys, get her outside now.
Yep.
Investigation's over here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we stayed the night there.
We ended up spending the night there.
Which room did you sleep in?
The living room.
Yeah.
The main room.
Yeah, we slept in the main one. Yeah.
We usually sleep in that big room right next to the bathroom. That big, office room.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The last time we were there, Rob actually got pulled out of his... Something tried to pull Rob out of his sleeping bag.
Yeah. They were sleeping in the parlor, the captain's room there or something. And Rob's a big guy. He's
like
6 foot.
6'7", 6'5", 6'7", along those lines.
Oh, wow,
something grabbed him by the feet, picked him up, and started dragging him out of his sleeping bag.
Oh, gosh.
And that was
crazy.
The room he did not want to sleep in.
No.
He did not want to sleep in that room. See, he put that bad juju out there before. Okay, you don't want to? We're going to give you a reason not to want to.
Yep, that's right.
The captain got him.
Rob, hell yeah, it did. Talking about you, buddy. Telling stories on him. Yeah, that was quite the night too.
Oh, let's see here. If you had a chance to build a device for your investigation, what would it be and why?
Oh, I can't get past my music box. I mean, there's so much out there that's already been built.
Yeah.
Where do you take it? I mean, what's the next step?
Yeah, it's really tough. It's just because the piece of equipment you have has to, prove itself, and because no matter what piece of equipment you have, there's always false positives. You've always got to try and debunk everything you have. It's just, there's sometimes you want to take different pieces of equipment and kind of put them together. It's just, like earlier this year, I had bought Ghost Top. It come out with I think it's called the G2.
It's like
and in theory, it's an awesome piece of equipment, but it doesn't have the energy it needs to do what it should, because it's got a laser on it. It's got a motion detector. It gives you direction. It tells you what's out there, temperature. It's a really neat piece of equipment, but it doesn't long range. It only reaches out 6 foot.
6 foot. It's very limited.
Oh.
So I was hoping, like in the places with the long hallways and that this would be perfect, but it just didn't work out. Luckily, Ghost Shop, love the guys. They were very nice. They bought it back for me, and I ended up buying another piece of equipment. Haven't had a chance to use that yet because of crap going on. But yeah, I mean, under the right circumstances, it just didn't work for us, but it might for somebody else under, however they investigate.
Right.
But it had a lot of cool stuff. And I told the guys, he says, yeah, this is kind of the first run at this. We're going to tweak it and that. But they said, to go into like a professional version of it, it's going to be, a lot more expensive.
No.
But if all that stuff would work, it'd probably be worth the money. It was really neat piece of equipment.
Just the distance, though. 6 foot is 6 foot from the actual piece of machinery. And if there was anything jutting out from the sides, it was picking up on that. And getting a lot of weird readings. And yeah, no. Nothing that you can really quantify as being good evidence. So you live and learn.
Let's see here. Okay, so let's see. One question here is a running question. Darren asks it every show. Is what's the one object in the world you never want to be haunted?
Never want to. My bed.
Somebody else had that answer.
Yeah, I think we've had a couple beds.
I would want to say my car.
That's
never
what I
want
said
that
too.
haunted. I would never want that thing all of a sudden to pull a Christine and take off by itself, And,
Yeah, that's what everybody says. Yep. That's what I was like. I'm like, no. I've been in way too many accidents. I don't need a car that's haunted to get me in it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that goes batshit crazy on you on a whim,
Yeah,
exactly.
And there's one more running question now that he started.
Which one? What? Did I miss it?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay, now, the opposite. What would you want to be haunted?
That's a good question.
That one's even. I guess it would all depend if I could decide on what was going to haunt it, I suppose. If it was going to be a nice, fun-loving spirit, he could hang out in my house. I wouldn't have much of an issue. But my luck, I'd get something really cranky and nasty. But if I could pick it, probably my house, I could have something to hang out.
Rob says his wife.
Rob, be nice. How about you?
I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, because it's funny because our teammates and my nephew Brian and Amy, they have a very friendly spirit that lives with them. It's been following Amy since college, and he's in the house and he just likes playing practical jokes once in a while.
They could haunt the school bus.
And he opens up doors and makes a mess every once in a while, and Brian or Amy will tell him to knock it off, and he stops for a while. But yeah,
he gets feisty every now and then.
He's a great spirit. But he's followed Amy through 3 homes
since college. Yeah.
We have one more question in chat here from Candy. If you were a ghost, who would you want to haunt?
Everybody.
Wow.
Okay, so am I a mad ghost or am I?
Yeah. See, there's always that question on Facebook. If you were a ghost, what kind of a ghost would you be? And it all depends who I'd be haunting. Somebody I'd want to be a cranky ghost. Somebody I'd want to be a funny ghost. So
one that would help somebody. Yeah.
I think mine. I would have to say though, my boss, just so I could bother him. My choice. That would be my pick. Because I could be a little of everything with him, but I think it'd be more of a pest of a ghost.
I think that would be mine too. Especially Jose.
I have really good bosses right now, so
Oh, I have nothing against my bosses, but Jose goes, why would you want to go hunt ghosts? Why would you want to go there? Why would you want to stir things up? So I
And then
have
you
to haunt
come
him.
back, you can go, see, Jose, this is why, as you're poking it.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm here. You know? See, that goes back to not wanting your bed haunted because you don't want somebody bugging you when you're trying to sleep.
Yep.
Yep.
And if you're an older ghost, that's exactly what you're going to do. 3 p.m. Oh, I'm sorry. Here, no, it's 3 a.m. Wake up, dummy. You know.
All right. So before we wrap things up here, I'm just going to give shout outs to everybody here that is that's been in chat. We had Shay, we had myself, we had Matt, we had Kim, we had Sue, we had Darren, we had Candy, we had Nico, we had Paul, Rebecca, Holly, Rob, Brian, and Adam. So I think I got everybody tonight.
And we want to give a shout out.
Christopher showed up in there
I
too.
didn't see Christopher.
Yep,
Sorry.
Christopher popped in there too. So thank
We
you.
want to give a shout out to our great team.
Yes, shout them out. Thank you, everybody who was in chat tonight. Thank you for everybody who was not in chat but listening. We appreciate each and every one of you. We'd like to thank our guests tonight.
Thank
Sue
you.
and Nick
This
from
was
Short
fun.
Bus. It was awesome. Had a blast.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys go follow them. They're good.
Yes.
Especially their lives
Let
are
them know
good.
where they can follow you at.
You can find us on Facebook at Short Bus Paranormal. Space between the words. Don't put them together. And we're working on a website, but we don't have that done yet. But yeah, when we investigate, we go live. Come join us on our live investigation. That way, you can be eyes with us, which is always fun.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
Next week is going to be a pre-recorded show. We have Penny Griffiths Morgan on from Haunted Histories. It was an excellent chat with her, so make sure you guys still tune into that. She has a lot of information. She does a lot of history with her paranormal, so it's always awesome to hear that too. And thank you guys for being on once again. It was awesome.
Well, thank you. Thanks,
This was fun.
everybody.
This was a blast.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank
Love
you.
to all of
we'll have
you.
you guys
Stay
back on.
safe. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Yes, we would love to come back on.
Yes, especially
yeah.
after you guys have been to some of the new locations too.
Yeah.
So we can get some feedback on that.
Yes, absolutely.
We'll give you the ins and outs on Hinsdale and Wildwood Sanitarium and that.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Ross
definitely.
and Boyd House, and yeah,
Yes.
so it'll be fun. But yeah, stay healthy, stay safe, be careful.
Yes, you guys as well. Take care.
Yes.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Take care.
everybody for listening.
Love you all. Bye.
Thank you for listening to REP Paranormal and Friends. Be sure to check out Kim and Allison on Facebook at REP Paranormal Busters.